Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. Welcome to Shifting Perspectives. If you are new to my channel, I am a philosopher, psychologist, and sociologist of 30 years. Today, we are talking about a whole lot of stuff. We are specifically breaking down and analyzing power, authority, problem solving, breaking habits, going from story sickness, and shifting your mindset from improbable fictions and avoidance through fictitious story over to actual problem solving with your problems. So I have this massive ball of thread and I've been pulling apart all the threads, and I've got like 5 threads here all woven together. And I just did a video on problem solving versus story sickness. And this is the other thread that I'm pulling at here. We are talking about disapproval. Now, this is an emotion I don't feel. I have never in my life felt the emotion disapproval. And one of my case studies is it's an emotion she struggles with a lot, but she's not the only one. I've talked to a lot of people, and a lot of people come to me with their problem with disapproval. And so I sat down and we had a beautiful debate, which actually is another topic that I have coming because it wasn't a debate. It was actually an exploratory dialogue, which is something that I coined about 10 years ago. I love the term exploratory dialogue. And we pulled apart the concept of what disapproval is. And this was my findings. This is it. Good God, I hope this helps you because this really is a lot of perspective. So my learning style, as in the way I use my videos to teach, goes like this. I provide you first and foremost with theory. Then I show you how you can apply it and make it relatable to your life. And then I show you an example of my life. That way you have a role model or a lead by example that you can learn off of, which is, by the way, how people learn. So in this example, I'm going to start off instead with my situation so you have an example. And then I'm going to switch this around and show you the theory. So when I grew up in the 1980s, so I had your classic government, Republican, conformist, support the country, kind of a gun-ho attitude from my father. And there was this concept of lording approval over me. Now, this is where it got real interesting. A lot of people report that approval was lorded over them, as if there was value to this approval. So there was value attached to the parental approval. Now, I will be blunt. I never experienced this feeling. He tried. Oh, did he try? And this is where I broke away slightly different. I felt that it was a contest, as if it were a deliberate contest of my gorgeous hippie self versus father's approval. Now, my hippie powers. Oh, yeah, I'm so running far, far away with that. That is a thing. I am now like my hippie powers. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a thing. My hippie powers did not even remotely suffer from this father approval. Not even close. It did not happen. My approval, the approval that was lorded over me, don't you want your father's approval? Not going to happen. I knew by the time I was 2 years old that parental approval was unattainable. I knew this. I internalized it. It wasn't even a contest. So there I was with my hippie powers. And my father trying to lord his approval over me. And I was chilling with my hippie powers going, yeah, like I can never achieve that. And this is really where the transfer of power occurs with anybody. This is how it relates to you. When you prioritize anything, what you are really doing is giving it power. That's it right there. You give it power. So if you prioritize the value of a parent, you just gave it power. This was my defense. I don't know why, I don't know how, but this was my defense. My son did this, and I couldn't figure it out for years. My son was a master at this. My ex, who was a grandiose narcissist, he loved domestic terrorism, would take everything away from my son. And my son would use the power of priority to completely strip away the narcissist's power. It was extraordinary to watch. It boggled my mind. I would be on the phone with his therapist, and we would analyze the psychology of this for hours. Where I would say, every time my then husband, grounds him, my son literally went, "Well, I don't care. You can take that away, and it doesn't bother me." And the psychologist explained, yeah, that's his way of taking back power by completely devaluing the thing that's been taken away. It's an absolute defense mechanism. Now, at the time, I did not realize that I also practiced this, only it wasn't with material possessions. Yes, it was. I also did it with, yes, it was. Okay, fine. So, fine, fine, fine. I have to have a conversation with my subconscious mind. Give me a minute. Yes, I will not self-deny. Yes, I did apply it to physical possessions, which is why I was so gung-ho about not being materialistic and making sure that I did not value anything materialistic despite being a Taurus. That's correct. And I also made sure I did not value money because money was a power that people lorded over me. Well, don't you want money? Well, don't you want money? Well, don't you want money? No, I don't value money, which was why my way of unprioritizing what they valued so that I couldn't jump through their hoops. This is a gorgeous little chess game called Blind Man's Bluff with psychological manipulation, with the power of priority. So when you've got these little brain cocktails happening where you've got somebody trying to lord power over you by claiming you should value something, but then you turn around and you reply to their manipulation with devaluing what it is they're trying to give you, and then you shift the priority from what they claim it is over to what you actually prioritize, you call their bluff and they have no power. That's what you're doing. It's highly, highly effective. It became my go to defense so that if somebody held money over me, I didn't prioritize it. When somebody held a job over me, I didn't value it. I didn't prioritize it. When someone valued approval over me, I didn't value it. I unprioritized it. This is extraordinary. Like son, like mother. I see this now. Like, oh, there it all is. Yeah. So money, a job, approval. What else was there? Societal role. I completely devalued it. And every time someone came into my life and said, this is what you should value. Yeah, I don't. In fact, the only time that what I did value was New York City, books, my children. Yes, my children were 100% used as weapons against me to get me to obey. That happened for 12 years. So, and that's something I couldn't unprioritize. So they got me there. So New York City was something that was lorded over me, and I couldn't unprioritize my love for the city. Books and education was something I prioritized. So that became the thing that they valued and held over me. So money, job, approval, societal role. And then there's physical possessions. Literally, virtually everything that they valued, that they told me I should value, that they tried to force me to value, forced priority. I took away the power of what they were lording over me. This became my defense, where I undervalued it and I shifted the priority back to my hippie power, where I'm just like, no, I'm not going to value your money. I'm not going to value this. I'm not going to value. So I continuously stripped away their power by not valuing what they lorded over me. And that is how you break away from any and all kind of control, because you're shifting priority. You are 100% shifting priority. So going back to now the you example of this, the see how it's relatable for you. If you have a parent, if you have a spouse, somebody in your life who is lording something over you, specifically approval. This is for anyone who struggles with disapproval. It's basically a you value their opinion of you. This is people pleasing 101. If you are a people pleaser, it is because you value acceptance. You put a priority on, oh, I know exactly why too. All right, we'll get into that in a minute. You value and you put a priority on wanting to receive or obtain acceptance, approval, belonging. That's a big part of it. You're basically wanting to be loved. Now, the reason why this is the case, this is my, ooh, I understand why, is because you have a limiting belief. The limiting belief that you have is, give me just a second to break the words down. Love equals, there you go. Love equals acceptance. There it is. Approval. Love equals approval. There's the limiting belief. You believe that being loved is being approved of. That is people pleasing. I never had it. I did have it when I had borderline personality disorder. I did have it. Joanna had it. Extraordinary. Yeah, she needed to be approved of and be accepted in order to feel love. It's tied into also being needed is love. But with people pleasing, it is specifically being accepted, being approved of, and that is what love is defined as. It's because you were most likely not shown actual love from a parent. Love is unconditional. Belonging is unconditional. And if you're sitting here going, no, it's not. Yes, it is. You have not seen or experienced real love. What you've experienced is terms of agreement. What you experienced was contractual love. That is not love. When you have terms to follow to receive love, that's not love. Not at all. That's a contract. That's a contract. That isn't love. That's a legal agreement. That if you want X, you have to do Y. Real love is unconditional. Real belonging is unconditional. And it means I want, accept you for you. That's it. So that you can explore, adventure, decide, dream, move, go, change, become, grow, shrink, struggle, and their love is still stable and doesn't move. And yeah, if you're sitting here going, yeah, I never had that, of course, a lot of people have not. That's unfortunately the norm. And that's the problem. Love is unconditional. It's unchanging. Belonging is unconditional. It doesn't change. You have a place to go home to. Now, maybe you don't, not yet. But when you are authentic to your true self, and then you find a community who loves you for your true self, then yeah. I call this authentic love or true love. And yes, this is actually what true love is. So when you get into lording and approval, when you get into disapproval and people pleasing, it's because you have associations of love equals being accepted, love equals being approved of. You also might have the it isn't safe to be disapproved of. It isn't safe. So if you were abused or if you had any kind of physical abuse occur to you, happen to you because of disapproval, that's going to add to it. Now you're putting safety as well into that mix, which really amplifies and solidifies. Now, I need to emphasize this is not a limiting belief. This is actually a fear that's disguised as a belief inside of your cognitive core. And that's the big, big difference there. So that is that thread. I'm going to go ahead and set this one aside now. I've pulled that one out. And yeah, I've covered everything there. So if you love shit like this, like, subscribe, follow, comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you. And this is a fraction of Triadic Healing. If you want to learn more about Triadic Healing, click on the link below. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.